a lifetime of what would seem like one-sided relationships, unrequited love. People get their fill, they take off and they leave you empty. It's like you're a gas station. And if loneliness is the result, is it worth it? Is it worth to find yourself doing more for others than they're willing to do for you? Yes and no. The yes aspect has very little to do with the individuals and more to do with the karmic response, if you can believe in such a thing, and I do. And I believe that the good that I put into this world, putting aside something I would rather do to sacrifice for the sake of others, to make their lives a little easier, no matter what that may be, I believe that has washed away the bad that I've put into this world, that I have been redeemed, that I found some redemption, that I found, I don't want to say an arc, but in a sense, an arc. Reason why I didn't really want to say an arc, because my story is far from done. I haven't reached the ultimate arc, but definitely a change in my character development. And so when I think about it from that aspect, it was needed. It had to be done. Now, when I face the landscape and face the loneliness, what is the next direction? What do I do from here? A big common theme that's going on in my mind and in my present life is to focus on myself. Who else is focusing on me? Nobody. Nobody, bro. And nobody wants to hear about it. Nobody wants an overly emotional man always talking about how lonely he is. You got to put that into something else. If you can help it, you don't put it into attaching yourself to people or the thought of a happy ending that involves another person. Of course, we're tribal creatures, but I think, through my experience with gambling and stuff like that, it left me with this mentality that I wanted to be involved in something where I had more control over the outcome. So I don't have as much control over what other people, or how other people view me, or what they would want to do with me, if they would want to include me into their lives or would want to be included in mine. I have no control over that. But I do have control over what I choose to do with my time. And so it is time to do that. It is time, it's past time to spend more time in immersion. And if you take no other lesson from me, immersion is the key. Immersion is the equalizer. And it just so happened that that's an extremely hard thing to do depending on what your habits are. You know, if you're so used to looking out at the world around you to stimulate you to answer, as or temporary solutions or distractions or whatever it may be, then it becomes extremely complicated to push that aside. But there is great use in reverse engineering, meaning you know what you want, you know what the end goal is, you begin with the end in mind, and so you just work I guess in a sense, well, I say reverse engineer, so you kind of work backwards, but basically you try to connect the dots. You try to connect yourself from where you are to where you want to be. You bridge that gap. And immersion is the way. Immersion is the goal. Immersion is the goal before it becomes the way, or vice versa. It could be either or. Uh, and so that's the thing, and that's the answer for me when it comes to the frustration. And it's like, you're lonely anyway. You're alone anyway. Get something out of being alone. Get something out of it, because nobody cares. You think you do. You think they do. They tell you that they do. It's kind of conditional. They really care when you're not around to care if anybody cares. That's when they really care. They care when you don't have life in you anymore. Until then, I mean, they're happy to not hear your name in the news or in the obituary. And even then, it's kind of about them. So live your life. Focus on yourself, bro. That's the thing. You have to. If you don't care about yourself, if you don't care about the trajectory of your life, nobody else is going to care. Nobody else is going to care. All right? Once you get that through your thick skull, you can then give yourself permission to be about yourself, to major in all that is major to you. All right.